people, welcome to your lesson. Today we are going to page 17, okay? Lesson 2, we'll start lesson 2. But before we start, I want to revise with you the present simple tense. Remember, the present simple is the verb tense that we use to communicate habits, routines. That means things I do every day, things I do once a week. Remember, it was the first one on book 1, okay? So, I put an example here. Present simple, okay? This is the construction. Remember, we use do when we make a question. Do you like pasta? The verb is like, right? And remember that when we use he, she, or it, we change do for does. Okay? So, the answer here, yes, I like pasta. Remember, this is a positive sentence, an affirmative sentence. We do not use the auxiliary do, just the verb, like. And in the negative, we use the auxiliary do to carry the negative. So, no, I don't, do not like pasta. So, the verb keeps the same. Okay? So, this is the present simple. Why am I revising this with you? Because today we are learning the past simple. Okay? So, the past simple is actually very simple. Okay? Because what do we have to do? We have to use the same structure of the present simple. But we have to put the auxiliary in the past. So, I'll change here to the past simple. Okay? Okay, so what do I have to do to transform, to change this question into the past? I only have to put the verb do in the past. Okay? So the past of do is did. Did. So did is the auxiliary that tells us that this is in the past. Okay? Very good. Here in the negative, what do I have to do? I have to change do for did. Same thing. So here, did not. Okay? So, what is the contraction of that? We take do out and didn't. Okay? Did not, didn't. So I don't change the verb like. I don't change the verb like. Okay? What tells me that this is in the past and this is in the past is the auxiliary did. Okay? Very good. But we have a problem here because in the affirmative we do not have an auxiliary. So what do I do? I put the verb in the past. We have to conjugate the verb into the past. So, how do I do that? I simply add the letter D here. I liked pasta. Okay? So, to put English regular verbs in the past, we put D or ED at the end of the verb. Okay? But you have to remember that we only use the verb in the past in affirmative sentences because in the question and in the negative, we use the auxiliary did. Okay? So, let's read the explanation in the book. New grammar point. The past simple tense for regular verbs. When we talk about completed actions in the past, we use the past simple tense. In the affirmative, with regular verbs, we form affirmative sentences in the past simple tense by adding the letters ed to the verb. Ed. Remember, in this case, I only added d because the verb ends in e. Okay? So it's always either ed or only d. Okay? This is to put the verb into the past for regular verbs. Very good. So we have some examples here comparing the simple present and the simple past. So I watch Harry Potter. It means that I do it frequently. Simple past. I watched Harry Potter. See, I added ed to the verb to watch. If the verb ends in the letter e, like here, like the verb like, we only add the letter d. Okay? For example, dislike, disliked, like, liked. Okay? If the verb ends in a consonant plus the letter y, we remove the y and add ied. For example, study, studied. We take the y off, okay? If the verb ends in consonant, vowel, consonant, remember this, CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant, we double the last consonant and add ed. For example, trap, trapped, double P, ed. Okay? So, to make questions, we use the auxiliary verb to do in the past. So what's the past of the verb to do? Did. And guys, remember, we have that difference when in the simple present, when we are talking about the persons he, she, and it. We use does. Remember that? Cool. In the past, we use did for everybody. I did, you did, he, she, it did. We did, they did. It's the same for everybody. It doesn't change. Okay? So, we have one more example here. Do you watch Harry Potter? In the past, did you watch Harry Potter? Okay? So, negative. To form negative sentences in the past simple tense, we use the negative form of the auxiliary verb to do. In the past, didn't. Okay? So, in the present, I don't watch Harry Potter. In the past, I didn't watch Harry Potter. Cool? Let's move on to the new content. Okay? We are going to practice a little bit the simple past in this lesson today. Let's repeat the new content. To enjoy, to fail, a race, a cheater, to cheat, to cycle, cycling, a cyclist, to cross, a finishing line, to race, Tour de France, an athlete, to decide, a decision, a bicycle. Okay guys, let's start. To enjoy is a synonym for the verb to like, okay? To enjoy is when you're doing something and you feel happy about doing that something, okay? Is when you get pleasure for doing something, to enjoy, okay? To fail. guys, to fail means when you don't have success in doing something. For example, if you do a test and you don't pass, okay, you failed, okay? A race. A race, guys, is a competition, okay? Where the competitors, they run or they go as fast as they can to get the first place, to get at the end first. It's a race, okay? We have races, running, or bicycle races, or car races, horse races, okay? And the objective is to get at the end first. A cheater and to cheat. I will explain the verb, to cheat, okay? To cheat is to behave in a dishonest way, okay? To get something that you want, okay? For example, in a competition, in a race, if the sportsman or sportswoman, let's suppose that they take some medicine, some drugs to make their performance better, okay? They are cheating, okay? Another way to use the verb cheating is when we have a couple, okay? Boyfriend, girlfriend, wife or husband, and one of them is meeting another person outside the marriage, okay? This is also to cheat, okay? A cheater is a person that cheats, okay? To cycle is a verb that we use and it has the same sense of to ride a bicycle. Okay, instead of saying I ride my bicycle every day, I can say I cycle every day. Okay? Cycling is the sport. A cyclist is the person that practices the sport of cycling. Okay? The person rides their bicycle for sport. To cross. To cross, guys, is a verb and it means to go from one side to the other. For example, when you cross the street, that means go from one side of the street to the other, you have to look both ways, okay, to see if there isn't a car coming, okay? A finishing line. A finishing line, guys, is a line, literally, at the end of a competition, at the end of a race. So, again, the objective of a race is to cross the finishing line first. Okay? So, the verb to race is a verb, of course, of the noun a race. So, to race is to run against others in a competition. Tour de France is a competition, a very famous cycling competition, okay? And they have competitions. It's not only one competition, but they have competitions all over the world, okay? Of course, they have one piece of the competition in France, okay? And last year, there was one of the phases of the Tour de France was here in Campos do Jordão, okay? The piece of competition was called L'Étape, okay? And it's a cycling competition. It's part of the Tour de France. An athlete is a person that practices a sport professionally, okay? To decide, it's the verb. A decision is the noun, and it's very similar to Portuguese. To decide something is to say that, no, now I am going to do this, okay? To decide. And a bicycle you have already learned, and to ride a bike, to ride a bicycle, okay? So, let's repeat, guys. Did you enjoy your dinner yesterday? What did you decide to do at the weekend? Lance Armstrong is one of the most famous athletes that cheated. He crossed the finishing line first. Many people enjoy watching the most popular cycling race in the world, the Tour de France. My friend cheated in his last English exam and passed to the next book. Let's practice, guys. Guys, don't forget to pause the video, okay, and read the answers to yourselves before I do, okay? So let's go. What did you do the day before yesterday? I watched TV the day before yesterday. Do big cyclists have very expensive bicycles? Yes, big cyclists have very expensive bicycles. What is the Tour de France? The Tour de France is a famous cycling race in France. Did you fail the exam in book 2? No, I didn't fail the exam in book 2, but I passed the exam in book 2. Did Livia study German 3 years ago? No, Livia didn't study German 3 years ago, but she studied English. What do athletes cross when they finish a race? Athletes cross the finishing line when they finish a race. Did you enjoy racing your classmates in PE lessons when you were a child? Yes, I enjoyed racing my classmates in PE lessons when I was a child. What do we call people that cycle? People that cycle are called cyclists. Are you going to cycle in the Tour de France next year? No, I'm not going to cycle in the Tour de France next year. Did you answer the last question? No, I didn't answer the last question, but my classmate answered it. What do we call a person who cheats? We call a person who cheats a cheater. Did you learn to walk when you were a baby? Yes, I learned to walk when I was a baby. Where did you study when you were 10 years old? I studied at Humboldt School when I was 10 years old. Did they play the piano yesterday? No, they didn't play the piano yesterday. Why did you decide to study English? I decided to study English because I wanted to understand all the songs that I liked and all the movies that I liked to watch. What do we call the activity of riding a bicycle? The activity of riding a bicycle is called cycling. Did your mother cry at the cinema on Sunday? No, my mother didn't cry at the cinema on Sunday. Do you like to fail in exams? No, I don't like to fail in exams. Okay, guys, this was today's new content, okay? And we have learned a very important grammar topic, the past simple, okay? If you have any questions, guys, please let your teacher know as soon as possible, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you next lesson. Bye-bye.